John McInnes here, back on the GameSpot live stage at E3 2014. I am joined by Amy and Phil, who are here to show us tabletop racing.
Yep.
A bit of a change of pace from the game that we were just checking out, which was grim, dark fantasy. This one's slightly different. For anybody who hasn't heard of tabletop racing, how would you describe it?
So, tabletop racing is a AAA micro combat racer.
Okay.
And it's actually being developed by one of the original co-creators of the Wipeout series. So the development team are actually based in Liverpool in the UK. They're called Playrise Digital, and they're made up of lots of ex-racer developers. So they've got super high racing credentials, ex-Sony Liverpool studio, ex-Bizarre Creations. So definitely worth picking up. The game itself comprises of 8 levels, which can be driven forwards or in reverse. In reverse, they're a totally different challenge.
Yeah.
There's also 17 fully upgradable cars. So you actually collect coins, earn coins as you drive. And with those coins, you can basically purchase upgrades for your vehicles, and that can just be performance upgrades. So, you know, better acceleration, better grip, better turbo. You can actually purchase new cars altogether. Certain cars are locked to certain championships, but I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment.
Sure.
And in addition to that, you can also purchase weapon wheels. So weapon wheels are essentially like power-ups. So it's very much about choosing the right wheels for the right race. Some examples of some weapon wheels would be bling wheels. So these help you earn more coins as you race.
As you would gather from the name.
As you would gather from the name.
Yeah.
There's also Centurion wheels, which are a lot more old school. They basically carve up any opponents that are trying to overtake you.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
In addition, there's Peace Bomb wheels, and Peace Bomb wheels they will strip all active weapons on track for all your opponents. So it's very, very useful and should be deployed at the right moment because it only regenerates once each lap. So obviously it's a combat racer, so there's 4 power-ups that you can pick up on track. There's Speed Boost, which is quite obvious, can get you out of tricky situations and can help you out on those jumps and on those alt routes. In addition, there's Mines, which you can just leave on track. You can also use them to evade certain attacks, like EMP Strike, which creates a circle of destruction around the car. Anyone in the way is toast.
Right.
And then there's Missiles, which, quite obvious, you can lock onto your targets in front, or essentially anyone who's behind. No one is safe from attack. So it really is interesting stuff.
So let's talk about, well, we actually just finished a race here. Oh, we're going to just adjust your microphone
adjust
slightly.
my microphone.
There we go. That's the beauty of live internet television. So obviously it's on Vita, which is why we're shooting off screen right here. Can you tell us about what's going on screen?
Yeah, so basically this is Quick Race mode. This is one of 4 modes that is within the single player campaign. So Quick Race is exactly what it says. You can just dive straight into the action. There's 4 different types of race. There's a pure race for those more hardcore racing fans. There's combat racing, which is what the game is about at heart. You can also do an elimination race and a time trial. And then if we come out of here, we can also see the additional modes in single player. So there's special events, over 30 special events that you can take part in, and they're usually specific types of races, so we outlined just a few there. There's also the likes of time trial and hot lap, which is just one single lap that's completely timed. And some of the special events are actually tied to certain cars to just add more to the challenge. There's also a drift mode, which is, again, for your more hardcore racing fan.
Sure.
And there's also a championship mode, which is made up of 4 different trophies. And this goes from amateur right through to expert. So there really is something for people of all skill levels. See, we're in the garage here. And as I was saying before, here's all the different weapon wheels that you can purchase. There's 17 different cars that you can choose from. Some are quite interestingly named. Some cars actually come with their own special abilities. So, for example, the Bugatti Carb Injection comes with its own protective shield. The Bunnymobile actually comes with the ability to jump, so you can essentially get around those.
Awesome.
It does. Come on,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Dumb and
Oh
Dumber-esque,
yeah.
which always helps. This
The
is
Shaggin' Wagon.
Yeah, exactly right. Who wouldn't want to pay homage to that?
So drift mode's particularly awesome. That's
Yeah,
my
it is.
favourite mode.
It is really,
And
really
drift,
good.
Drift mode's a great mode because that's where you're going to earn the most coins as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking to Nick Burkham, who's the designer of the game, who was the designer of Wipeout, And Nick, when he designed the game, the best score I think he ever got on Driftmo was 150,000. His son, he told me, has scored 500,000.
It's the world record.
It's the world record. So it's a big challenge out there to all Vita gamers. We want to know who can beat Nick's son's record of 500,000.
And it would be an interesting feat.
Something we've not mentioned yet is it's got 4-player online and 4-player offline, local multiplayer, which is awesome fun.
It really is. If you can handle the madness, get online.
All right. Good advice. So we're getting some questions in the live chat here. People are wondering about platforms. Is it a Vita exclusive? Do you have plans to bring it to other platforms? What's the situation?
Well, it's currently also available on mobile, but this really is the best version that's out there. The guys have worked really hard to enhance all of the levels. They've doubled the poly count on the geometry on the tracks. They've doubled the texture resolution. 60 frames a second, buttery smooth.
Twin stick.
Twin stick,
There's
that's
no
it.
auto accelerate.
Exactly. And then you can also look behind you as well, so which
Use
is
the
very
rear touch.
tactically handy.
Right. Robbie Jones was asking about multiplayer. You did cover that briefly a moment before, but is there a difference in modes? Can anything you do single player be played multiplayer?
You can play locally and you can play online against your friends. So whether you want to just get together with a group of friends, get your Vitas together, have a bit of a racing party,
right.
or whether you want to just get online and just compete in the global leaderboards, it's entirely up to yourself. But both options are there for players to look forward to.
All right. A lot of people who are excited to see this kind of like micro racer style game seems to be stoking a lot of nostalgic memories for people.
Well, the guys really, really love their racing games, particularly Micro Machines and Mario Kart, and they really do pay homage to it. You can see the influences in the game. It's just super fun.
Let's see here. I can't pronounce your name, but Kifra, something like that, is wondering, is it purely analog D-pad steering, or is there tilt controls, any of that motion stuff that the Vita has?
There is just analog steering, but as we mentioned before, there is the rear touch as well, so it does utilize the full features of the Vita. But yeah, I mean, it's all about the racing experience,
right.
And I think because it was a mobile version initially, the guys were just so keen to get in there and utilize the controls of the Vita.
But you can change the camera, so you can have more of a kind of a top-down view.
Okay.
It's much more like MotorStorm RC, and the controls slightly changed there because the camera's fixed.
All right, cool. And I mean, let's be honest. In a racing game, you want to have the tactile controls anyways, right? You just get more precision out of it.
Sure.
Let's see here. A lot of... Basically, people are just like listing off their favorite classic racing franchise at this point. They're not even submitting questions anymore. It's like, oh, guys, remember Twisted Metal? That one was great.
That's awesome. Well, it's good that it's inspiring a bit of a nostalgia in people, because I think that is what the guys like really want to do, and it's what they're really passionate about. So it's great that people are excited.
So until our audience gets back on track, let's jump back to describing the action that we're seeing on the screen here.
Yeah. So obviously I outlined the power-ups before. I'll just go through them again. At the moment, there is a mine being used there, which can be used to deploy on track. You can kind of leave it sneakily before a power-up, or maybe on a shortcut, so you know that someone is going to, unfortunately, come across it. They can also be used to evade attacks. That was an excellent mine hit there. So anyone tries to hit you with an EMP strike or a missile, if you deploy that mine at the right moment, you can completely evade the attack altogether. Again, looking back is so tactically handy in that scenario, because you can just place your power up exactly where you want it to be at exactly the right moment. But it's super fast paced, so it's certainly not for the faint-hearted.
Right.
And on each track as well, there's also a lot of shortcuts. So it's a lot about learning where the shortcuts are to cut the corners, and they're all different when you play in reverse as well.
Yeah, totally different, a completely different challenge. But obviously, depending on the type of race that you're involved in, you know, for a speed trial, for example, you need to know where those shortcuts are, because as you progress up and the difficulty gets a little bit more intense, you really need to know that to take it full advantage. Otherwise, you're not going to get your 3 stars. And it does become a bit of an obsession.
Right.
It's never quite enough to just complete a race. You need those 3 stars. You need to get those coins to get your upgrades. And you need to equip your vehicles ready for the next race.
All right, guys, sounds good. We are out of time at this point. But before I let you go, can you let us know any sort of release date information that you might have?
Where it's going to be out in summer on PS Vita, obviously. So everyone keep a lookout for it.
All right, Amy, Phil, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Sean. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, Sean.